As someone who used to watch a lot of fitness content online from a lot of the fitness industry and content creators, I can say that a lot of it is actually not helpful to you at all. And a lot of the concepts which people go over online in the industry really actually make it a lot more complicated than it actually is. And it just feels like you're running around in circles. A lot of different people contradict each other. And I just feel like the advice that you get online nowadays doesn't actually line up to what's actually going to get you results and what's actually going to get you progress. So I actually bought into a lot of this advice, and after lifting for 5 years, I feel like I could have made a lot more progress if I had just known what I know now and known how simple bodybuilding actually is. So in this video, I'm going to go over 3 of the biggest bodybuilding myths which are going around the fitness industry, which constantly get brought up, and exactly why these don't work and what you need to do instead. So the first myth is mind-muscle connection. This is something which a lot of people promote online, and a lot of people say that it's really essential that when you're lifting weights to actually visualize with your mind on the working muscle, and then this is somehow going to activate more muscle fibers. Whereas the reality is that this is a complete myth. And if you really want to build up a mind-muscle connection where you can really feel the muscle working, it's not through visualizing anything, and it's not through really squeezing the muscle. It's just through executing the setup and the execution of the exercise correctly. If you've set the machine in the right place, or you have the dumbbells in the right position, and the setup and the execution of the workout is correct, then you're going to be hitting the working muscle really well, and therefore you're going to feel this muscle working a lot more. So the way that you actually create the mind-muscle connection is by ensuring that the muscle which you're trying to work is actually the muscle that's exerting the force. So a lot of people make this mistake and they end up having bad technique, and then they end up working different muscle groups than they're actually trying to work. So for example, on bench press, they might be working their shoulders a lot more, and they think that it's because they need to squeeze the muscle harder, or because they need to really visualize and think with their mind to engage with the working muscle. And the reality is that a lot of times they just haven't set up the exercise correctly, and therefore they're not actually hitting the working muscle, and the working muscle isn't actually the muscle that's doing a lot of the work. So if you want to maximize mind-muscle connection, just make sure that you're lifting safely with the correct technique and that the execution of the exercise is on point. And this is how you're going to get a really good mind-muscle connection. The second myth is drop sets and assisted reps. The reality is that doing drop sets and assisted reps once you've reached mechanical failure isn't actually going to help recruit any more muscle fibers, isn't going to increase the stimulus, and all it's going to do is really induce more fatigue, which is going to make it harder to recover from for your next working set. So the reason why this is because once you have reached mechanical failure, or close to mechanical failure on a certain weight, then your muscles and your mind actually start to shut off, and you're not going to recruit any more motor units or any more muscle fibers if you keep going and you drop the weight and do some more drop sets. So the way that you really build muscle is through mechanical tension. And the higher the weight is, the more stimulus you're going to get because you're creating more stress on the muscle. So if you really drop the weight down and you do more drop sets and working sets after you've already reached mechanical failure, your muscle just isn't going to actually pick up any more motor units, and you're effectively just wasting your time, and it's going to cause a lot more fatigue. So instead of doing this and thinking that you need to be doing drop sets and assisted reps to increase the mechanical tension to increase stress, instead just worry about increasing the weights that you're lifting and progressively overloading in a moderate rep range of 6 to 10 reps. This is really going to help because it's enough reps to actually recruit motor units and muscle fibers, but it's also low enough so that you can increase the weight and increase the amount of stress the muscles are under to really create that stimulus and set off that growth mechanism. So this is why doing drop sets, assisted reps, it's all a myth. Supersets as well, they don't really help you. They are counterproductive, and they're just going to induce too much fatigue, affect your recovery, and overall the total stimulus for the workout will decrease. The third and final biggest bodybuilding myth is that you need to be sore after your workout for the workout to be productive. If you think that being sore after workout, being tired, and really leaving the gym exhausted is conducive to a good workout, then you're actually looking at the wrong metric. The only metric you should be looking at is, are you getting stronger in a moderate rep range? Because strength and muscle growth go hand in hand. So if you want to build up aesthetics, the only thing that matters is increasing your strength. So a lot of people make the mistake of just going to the gym, doing whichever machine or exercise is free, setting up a weight until it's a weight that feels comfortable and feels challenging, and then they do as many reps up until they get sore or they reach failure. And they think that because they pushed hard, that this is conducive to a productive workout and that they're going to build muscle. Whereas the reality is that the metric that actually matters, which is creating mechanical tension, is done through progressive overload. And so if you're not actually tracking your lifts and just getting a little bit stronger each and every time, it doesn't matter how sore you are. It's actually not going to help you, and it's going to work against you because it's going to be too much stress on your nervous system. So instead of worrying about how sore you are after the workout, make sure that you're tracking your lifts. Make sure that you know how many reps and sets you did last week and on how much weight, and just try and beat it a little bit this week. And if at the end of that set you're not sore, or at the end of the workout you leave and you still have energy and you're not sore, it doesn't really matter, because either way you still set that growth mechanism into action and you can recover. And that's another point, because if you are too exhausted after workout and you did too many sets, it's actually just going to be counterproductive and your recovery is going to take a hit. So a productive workout is where you get in there, you create the stimulus, you progressively overload, and then you remove the junk volume and you get out of the gym. So that's a really essential key point. Being sore is not conducive to a productive workout.